Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna start. So my name is Miley. I'm also on the government team. So as oh, okay, pause. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to address your claims first, then do my preview, then go in?
No, preview, rebuttal, points.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. My name is Miley Trimble, and I'm on the government team. So for my preview, the points I'll be making today is that allowing classes to be pass, no pass will promote better attendance, and students will be less incentivized to cheat. So, as Alyssa mentioned, students will not try as hard if they either have to, if there's only a 50% chance. But this is under the structure of a graded system. So I think that when there's pass, no pass, there you'll have to do more work, obviously, and it's not going to be from with a grade you get a rubric and there's points that you have to make. This doesn't really promote learning versus pass, no pass. It's just going to be can you accurately describe your learning through assignments? Um, Alyssa also spoke about how college feeds into work culture so that you need to have stress, but the stress from grades is completely different from the stress that you get from being a doctor or the stress that you get from needing to fill out work quotas. Um, and then you claimed that it doesn't show work ethic, but I would argue that a numerical grade often does not show work ethic either. A lot of students make the grade they're getting by cheating or they memorize the content without actually learning it, which brings me to my point. Pass no pass will promote better attendance. So a lot of times students don't go to class because the big bulk of the grade they're getting is within doing the work. But if it's pass no pass, there's going to be a higher emphasis on going to class and actually retaining information to do these assignments. Um, and students will be less incentivized to cheat. So, as mentioned, when you get a grade, you're often trying to strive to get an 100. So, even if you haven't actually learned the material that you need to, you can find other ways around that by using AI or having somebody else send you their assignment without even looking at it often. But pass no pass, because there's not this insane pressure to get the highest grade, I'd argue that students are more likely to actually care about what they're learning and retaining it because even if they can't memorize it within the time of an assignment, they're still able to one go to class and not feel the pressure to just memorize it and do good on an assignment. Any questions? Of course, go ahead.
I have one question. Would you not agree that attendance is often graded? So having in a letter grade structure, having attendance be part of the grades be more an incentive than it would be in a pass fail structure.
I do believe that attendance is a part of a grade, but I think that when you're switching from full letter number grades to pass fail to fail no fail, then there's going to be a higher emphasis on going to class because the work you're going to be doing isn't based on a grade, it's being based on what did you learn in that class, so you can't do so if you didn't go to class. Yes.
Um, okay, so I think, okay, my question is, so pass, fail, and letter grades, you're doing the same amount of work in the class, it's just how the grade is distributed. So even if a person, you're going to be assigned all the same assignments,
Mm-hmm.
but just how your like grade ends up being is the pass, fail, or letter grades. So can you explain to me how like pass fail would actually make them work harder when they're being assigned the same work, but they don't need to work to the A level if they can just receive a pass, meaning they only need to like work to like a C level technically. So how would that
Mm-hmm.
actually make them work harder?
I don't agree with the fact that they would be the same assignments just because with those assignments, they're based on a rubric structure of this is what you have to do. And so because of the grading structure, it's usually a higher emphasis on the assignment at hand and then maybe like 15% for attendance. So if it was still that same structure, there's really no class to be had. So I think that part of pass no pass would be restructuring assignments to make sure that it shows you actually understand what's being taught. So if you're doing 50% of the work or 70% of the work, that's not going to be enough in that instance because a lot of times you're just doing what you can. So I think that it just wouldn't be the same structure. Therefore, yeah, thank you. Oh my God.
Okay, let me just set my timer. Okay, hi guys, my name is Eden. I'm part of the opposition team. And of course, today we are arguing to not eliminate traditional grade systems at LMU. And just to preview my first point will be what are people paying for if not paying for in college, if not to be evaluated or critiqued on their grades. And my second point will be that college leads to careers, so people need to be well informed on how well they know or don't know the material.
Can I
So
ask a question real quick?
no, you may not.
No, like about,
Oh, like,
sorry.
oh yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go
Wait,
ahead.
I just wanted to clarify, because the structure is a little bit different. So am I rebuttaling you?
Yes. And then we'll just end it there. Yeah.
Okay. Can I ask for you to repeat your main points then real quick? I am so
Yeah.
sorry. Okay.
Okay, my first main point is what are people paying for if not to be evaluated or critiqued on their grades? And then my second main point is that college leads to careers, so people need to know whether or not, need to be informed whether or not they actually know the material. And so my rebuttal is, Emily, you mentioned attendance, and as I kind of already got out with my question, attendance usually, or at least in majority of the classes I've taken, is a part of the grades. So I would argue that if attendance is a big bulk of someone's overall grade, that having the ability to get either a 100 or a 70, and if sometimes in a lot of scenarios attendance is kind of that final factor for people, that people would want to show up more often than not if it is the difference between them getting a 70 or a 90 in class. And then for the rebuttal on your cheating point, I would argue that of course, yes, having a pass-fail structure for grades would get rid of pressure and just overall stress that is typically what leads to cheating. But I would argue that having no pressure, especially like, let's be honest, a lot of college people are looking for the easy way out, unfortunately, these days. So having no pressure for grades could lead to a further lack of care, which overall would lead to typically more cheating, especially with the development of AI. Cheating is unfortunately easier than ever. And if it is under a pass-fail structure, teachers might not be looking that deeply at grades, allowing for AI to seep through the cracks more often than not. And then, so getting into my main point, college is very expensive, especially here at LMU. People are paying up to about like $90K a year to go to school here. And my question really is, why are you going to, or why are you receiving higher education if not to be graded and to be critiqued and evaluated in a, yes, sometimes scary or daunting manner, but in a way that is going to make you a better person and a better student? And then I'm already like already out of time. My second main point is for that college obviously leads to careers and people need to know whether or not they know the material. For instance, people who are studying to be doctors need to know exactly how much of what they actually know. I personally would not want to have a doctor operating on me or taking care of me if they only received a pass fail, and that could have been the difference of 1 or 2 points on how that got them to their job. As I think overall, having feedback and having accurate grading leads to people actually not only knowing the material for themselves, but being evaluated and understanding what they don't know, because I think that's equally as important. And with knowing what you do and don't know, you're able to grow and you're able to develop. But under a pass-fail system, like Alyssa said, it really is just 50-50. So you're not truly understanding what you're gaining in knowledge, and you kind of can just coast through school. And whether that might be nice for some people in certain situations, that would definitely, I think, lead to more dangerous outcomes than not. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, Alba.
Yeah, so wait, hold on, I'm looking for my doc. Okay. I feel like you said, wait, hold on, I'm rereading my part. Oh, you were saying something about how, like, with attendance, it would, make people, like, a big portion of people's grades would be an A because of attendance, but I've seen people get A's, without going to class at all. And because their teacher just said it's not mandatory and that it's just the assignments and getting a grade on your assignment is, what it is. So I feel like that, didn't really make a lot of sense. But, I also thought, I'm going to make it sure I won't use all the questions, but you said something about, like, I wouldn't want my doctor, to have, like, a pass, no pass, but don't you think, I mean, we did talk about LMU's undergraduate system being a pass, no pass, not, and obviously doctors, it's like beyond your undergraduate, like beyond your bachelor's degree. And so, I don't know how it would affect, like if you're like even lawyers or whatnot, like having a pass, no pass, like it doesn't affect it into going into your law school or medical school beyond, like, do you agree that it, really affects, like, your undergraduate degree really affects whether or not your doctor's going to know to put, like, a needle in you correctly?
I would argue that it's important as you do your work in undergrad, obviously leads to what master's or graduate programs that you're able to get into. And I would argue that no serious or graduate program would take pass no fail, and that they would usually, any graduate program is usually based on GPA and or test scores. So I think having a pass fail structure on your transcript would actually hurt you in the long run.
But what if, wait, can I continue?
You have to raise your hand off.
Oh,
Here, wait, let Miley ask her question.
okay, yeah, sorry, I'll shut up. Sorry.
How can we ensure that someone like a doctor or a lawyer is actually retaining information based on their grade alone?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And I think the same question could be asked for a pass fail structure. I think it's really hard for people to know how much they actually know. I know for me, I feel like I always kind of forget things right after a test, but I think that that is down to the individual level, not necessarily the grading system. And if they are working up to that level of doctor or surgeon, that you would hope and pray that they have retained something.
Thank you.
Guys, we're doing so amazing. Wow, this is really good.
Okay, wait, yeah, any
Okay.
more questions?
Oh, yes, period.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Hello, I'm Chloe. I will be, I'm also on the pro-government side. To, oh my gosh, okay, where's everything? Okay, to outline my main points. My first point is that eliminating grades promotes a more engaged classroom. And then secondly, there are other success stories of colleges and universities succeeding with a no grade system.
first I would like to rebuttal Eden, your lovely main point that was what are people paying for if not to be graded by the university? um I would argue that we're not paying to be graded, but we're paying to learn. Okay. We all know that wait, sorry. We all know how no. Okay, so yes, we're paying to learn. We all know like how it works nowadays with just like what we will do to get a good grade. Like kind of to what someone said just like literally a minute ago, but like getting an A, like I'm in an accounting class right now. I'm gonna get an A in it, but does not mean that I understand accounting. So like, but that's all I have all that pressure to do the things that I need to do to get an A, wink wink, because like it's really hard and like I need to get an A in order to pass, but I'm not learning anything. It's like that pressure is sacrificing my curiosity and ability to like dive in and learn. So our school system already like operates on like us sacrificing like the learning process because we just have to get by. But with like a no grade, no pass situation, like the structure of it is completely different from what it is now. A lot of, oh wait, I'll get to that later. But it would be structured in a way that's like a lot more interactive. I remember like learning when I was little that like you learn better through play, or like kids learn better through play. So I think it's kind of similar and transferable to this concept as well. Like students can engage and learn more through like interactive styles of teaching. And like I think
My dad and I are gonna hop on a call with the lady for this vitamin ambassador, but I really don't.
wait, am I not mute? That was so good. That's so funny. It's okay. It's okay. It's good. No, I loved it. I loved it. Okay. Where was I? Proper feedback. Yeah, I just think that this transition to like a more interactive classroom is a lot more beneficial to students actually grasping what they're learning. Like, and if we are paying to learn, I think there's so many different valuable ways to explore the learning in the like no pass realm, because yeah, we already know what school looks like nowadays and how we get by just to get a good grade. Anyways, my second rebuttal, your point was that college, obviously leads to career, so people need to make sure that they know the materials. Again, no pass style of teaching represents a different structure of learning. Again, it would look a lot more interactive and a lot more learning by doing. Also, I would argue that pass no pass isn't 50-50. Like passing would be equivalent to like a high standard of work. Like if you were in a pre-med track, you wouldn't pass by like, and you wouldn't get into like med school by receiving C's, obviously. So like passing would signify that you are like understanding and like producing good work. Also, wait, I'll get to that actually. That's going to bring me to my first point. Eliminating grades promotes a more engaged classroom. I don't know. Again and again, we can bring up the AI situation. Like, okay, I'm just outing myself with my accounting class, but like currently in my accounting class, everybody cheats on every exam, right? Okay, so that means that during the classes, we don't need to pay attention really, or like, it's not that serious. So the whole entire class is checked out. Even the professor, to the point where he'll put a problem on the screen. I should have been taking time. Oops, I might be talking too long. But anyways, he puts a problem on the screen
puts music on, and then he'll like let us work on it for 30 seconds, and then he'll walk over to the boys that are watching basketball games and be like, how's the game going? So like in general, we're just so checked out of like our classroom environments. And if we eliminated grades, that would eliminate the pressure of like because I think our generation is generally avoidant. So if we aren't getting something or understanding something, we're just going to check out. So eliminating that pressure means that we can, wait, did you raise your hand, Alyssa? Okay, wait, hold on. Eliminating that pressure means that, students are more like inclined to engage and motivated to, contribute to like an interactive and fun environment. I'm just going to go to my second point and then I'll do questions. But my second point is that there are other success stories with no pass/pass procedures. Like USC Berkeley and a ton of other colleges. I think Brown, we talked about that. They use this, but it's actually for specific courses, which I feel like we could have defined that earlier, but I mean, I think specific courses wise is more beneficial than like a college wide, because obviously for like STEM majors, that's different. But anyways, there's already people doing it and having good success rates, and the structure for those classrooms, they use narrative evaluations instead of grading. So that means that the professors are like actually providing substantial feedback, which is super beneficial to the students, and creates it strengthens relationships between professors and students, which also encourages more interaction and motivation. So it's not just like people are getting like an A, just they're not like handouts. It's students are expected to perform still to the best of their ability. And there's like less ways to cheat. And this expectation is still like high quality work. Let's just get into questions and then we can talk more. Okay, Alyssa, what's your question?
So first, like the topic says that like it would just assign pass fail grades instead of traditional grades. It doesn't say it's going to change the learning structure of the entire class. I feel like since we didn't define that at the beginning, we can't really refer to this as that because it wasn't stated. But also, using your funny accounting examples, you said that if it was pass fail, you would want to learn more. But I want to ask you to explain how that, like, considering no one's changing the way the class is structured, it's just what grade you're assigned. How would you learn more if it's pass fail, even if you didn't have to work towards that A, you just needed to pass? And how would that make people want to not cheat? Can you just explain to me how you think that would actually make you learn more?
Yeah. I think this is the hard part because like we didn't define this at the beginning, but like, which is I guess why this is a loophole, but like my idea is like, oh, like if we were to change the structure of it, then like knowing that I had to like still, no matter what, perform to like a high level to pass, like that would motivate me because I would know that they can't accept anything less than that, less than me like trying and not cheating. I think if the structure did not change and like the class is the exact same, I would imagine like two scenarios. I would imagine that there would be people that are generally still like aloof as they are, but also I think it would generally motivate us as a whole because it's a little bit of a gamble. Like in that scenario, you kind of have to approach it like, oh, I actually do have to do good in some sense in order to like make sure that I do pass. Because if you do just, because there's no grace in this scenario. Because if you do bad, you can't, like you can't end up passing. Like you can't get any like graciousness from your professor. Like it's just what it is, what it is. Does that answer that question?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Any other questions? No? Oh my god, there's a dog. Okay. Wait, I wish I could show you guys this dog that's walking by right now. It's really cute. Okay.
Wait,
Anyway,
could we? Oh, are
are we
you
done?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
This is
Are we done?
a long video.
Okay, period. Wait, can I ask what you guys genuinely think? Like, what do you guys, like, do you think it could work?
No, I
No.
really don't, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I would be offended. Like, I'd feel like I didn't really do school.
Exactly.
Mhm.
I feel like for some classes,
Yeah.
like, for example, like, I'm, like, half dance major, and, like, some of my technique
Right.
classes, it's like, why am I
What's
getting
the difference
graded on
between an A and a B? Like,
and, like, how well do I dance? But if there's an assignment, then yes, but, like, there's some classes, like, if I'm just taking ballet every day, it's like, let me
Right.
pass. Like, it gets weird, but, like, for
Yeah.
most classes, I feel like letter grades are just
yeah.
easier.
Yeah.
I
First
don't
year
know.
seminar doesn't
Like,
need a
Like
grade.
that, yeah, like some classes, like I don't think it matters, but like in
but then
general,
those also could be used as like GPA boosters
That's
if you
true.
don't do well in another class. So, I mean,
I don't
yeah, 'cause
know.
I
My
think
middle school did like 1 to 4 grading system and like to
yeah,
kind of
mine
like
did that
simplify
too.
it, and like people hated it because it was like, okay, what's the difference between like a 2
yeah,
and a 3? But like a
Right.
3 is passing and 2 is failing, but like really what's the difference?
Yes. Yeah.
it's weird. But it's also like there's no right way to like assign letters and grades to people. Like it's just like kind of like a big like it's cool. Like it's just weird, but yeah, I don't know.
I feel like no matter what, we're like on the verge of like education changing dramatically because like I don't know if you or did anyone take Professor Eve last semester?
Mm-mm.
No.
So wait,
Okay.
here, let me stop the recording so she doesn't get all this.
Oh, is it still recording? I'm dead. Wait, I thought